Welcome back, everybody. Sheepdog Smokey here. I really wanted to do, something stupid yesterday, some big announcement or whatever that I could do, say April Fool's on. But one, I've never been big on that. Two, I don't feel like that would be productive to, dive off into something like that. There are people out there, you know, Simon Pegg and others, they put out cute little stuff and it works. I'll leave it to them. Today, though, I'm I've been rereading a lot of things in the last 2.5 weeks. So I've been thinking about how well books written decades ago describe what we're looking at right now. Before we dive in for today, please remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you're part of the channel. You'll know when I post anything, and you'll be part of the giveaway at 500, 1,000, and 1,500 subscribers. That said, let's go on and dive right in. Aside from rereading Revelation, which I do almost constantly, I'm always, going back and forth when I have morning devotionals or have someone send me something and I want to go back and look. We have people who wrote fiction books decades and decades ago that are mirroring society today scarily well. George Orwell is the one I'm talking about today, and you have two books, really his penultimate two, that are really kind of showing what is going on today. Of course, you have Upside Down, Animal Farm, and 1984, which my copy is in my room in a box somewhere after I moved home from my office. But we'll start with Animal Farm. In Animal Farm, the farmers leave, and the animals are left to fend for themselves. At first, the pig's mantra of all animals are equal works. All the animals help with the chores, all the animals are fed, all the animals are cared for, they're housed and they get rest and everything. But the pigs ultimately, as always happens with socialism, they decide we're running the show, so we deserve more. The rule that no animal lives in the human house, but pigs are allowed to. No animal wears human clothes, but pigs are allowed to. No animal eats like a human would, pigs are allowed to. No animal walks upright on 2 feet that has 4. The pigs start doing it. Ultimately, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. By the time the pigs are living in the farmer's old house, the horses and the cows and the others aren't getting the same food. They're getting scraps. They're not even getting the right kind of food. They're just getting whatever the pigs don't eat, which ultimately would be, the rinds and the bones and stuff like that. Although, honestly, pigs and goats, they'll eat anything. The animals are made to continue working because the farm has to continue, even though the fruits of their labor are going to the pigs. Ultimately, the horse dies, and the other animals are just told, well, you got to pick up the slack. And ultimately, the farmers ultimately come home, and they put everything to rights. I don't believe it's actually said, but it's basically hinted at that the pigs don't fare too well when everything ends. 1984 goes in a different direction. It is still a socialist society. It's very amazingly portrayed in Equilibrium, which is a recent movie, but the 1984 movie with John Hurt way back when was good too. And what you see there is basically human society ruled and controlled by a ruling elite. The rules don't apply to them. We see it in Brave New World as well. And anyone who is a dissenter, anyone who is not supportive of the party of Big Brother, is vanished. Children are encouraged to report on their parents. It's scary. And things like, you know, equality and freedom are vilified. You know, freedom is slavery, and so on and so forth. You see lines like that. But we're starting to see certain inklings of that in society today, where someone decides we're not equal, so I'm not free, and you are, so you have to be made not free, as opposed to, you know, working to make your own life better. I don't like the fact that there are people out there who, like Jeff Bezos, make billions and hoard it. But it's a capitalist free society. I'm never going to suggest that Jeff Bezos should have even 1% of his personal wealth taken from him by force by the government and redistributed to others. There are others who make billions and who do amazing things with it. As much as I disagree with him politically, Bill Gates does a lot for charity organizations. Look at The Rock or John Cena, making millions of dollars and working with groups like Children's Miracle Network and others to make people's lives better. If you took away the wealth that those two make, or those three, they would have to pare down what they do to help others, because they would have to work harder to make the same salary and to keep their life going as they're accustomed to. It just escapes me how anyone can believe they have a right to what they did not earn. There's an old cartoon, The Ant and the Grasshopper. And the grasshopper spends his entire time playing his fiddle and singing his little song about how the world owes him a living. The ant spends his time before winter storing up food and making sure he has everything he'll need to last through the cold winter. The grasshopper doesn't do a thing. When winter sets in, the ant reaches out and cares for the grasshopper. And ultimately, the grasshopper has a change of heart and decides he is not owed anything by the world. It's ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And that is the sentiment. You're not owed a living. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right now, we still have the right to life, although not if you're an unborn child. Video for another day. We have the right to liberty. We are still free, although there are people working to curtail that. And we may pursue happiness, but pursuing something does not mean you will attain it. I am pursuing an additional revenue stream by trying to grow my YouTube channel. I'm also doing other things, working on my education and other projects to add income streams to my life. I'm pursuing it. It doesn't mean it will happen. I pursued happiness because I wanted to be a teacher. And I went to college, and I got my degree, and I got my certification, and I have yet to attain the position of teacher as full-time, because social sciences teachers are all coaches, and I'm not. And we have people who believe that they have a right to what they did not earn. And it is all of this comes down to a failure of education. I have pointed out countless times on Twitter and other places how people are just dead wrong. We'll take one that I have commented on multiple times, David Hogg from Florida. When he goes on his rants about assault weapons and the need for common sense gun reform and everything like that, I am very fast to point out how wrong he is and how his school failed him. You see, the founders did not write the Second Amendment for hunting. They did not intend it to be muskets only. We already had a hint about the Italian repeating rifle. We already had the puckle gun, which used cartridges, not cap and ball and not black powder, but it was very expensive because it was very new technology. So they knew firearms technology would advance. And they wrote the Second Amendment the way they did to ensure that it would not be limited by any one point in history. Yet, we have people like Hogg who've been lied to by their teachers, lied to by their parents, and lied to by larger society, so where now they actually believe that a government founded by men who had been told by their government, lay down and surrender your weapons and let us rule you, would form a government that would do the same thing. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Franklin, all of them would be lining up and signing up militiamen to take the country back decades ago. But we have students who graduate high school firmly believing the founders who fought off a tyrannical government actually formed one that led directly to give up your guns because we say so, and having that be legal. Oddly enough, if you turn it around, okay, well, let's talk about the First Amendment. You say the founders didn't know that firearms technology would increase, so they couldn't have known any technology for speech would ever appear. So you're limited to iron gall ink, and you're limited to quills and paper, and the printing presses of the time. You may not have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, no cell phones, no iPads, no email, no computers. Can't have any of it, because if the founders didn't know technology would increase for firearms, they didn't know technology would increase for anything else. Well, no, that's not true. They said speech because they knew it would advance and we'd have new ways. So the founders are simultaneously so monumentally stupid they wouldn't know firearms would advance in technology, but so monumentally brilliant they knew for a fact that Facebook and other stuff would one day exist. This is the failing of education. Students, when they spout this nonsense, need to be told, wrong, wrong, wrong. And then they need to be educated. But teachers are either one, so convinced of their own superiority that when students parrot their idiocies back at them, they just say, oh, I'm a wonderful teacher. Others who know the truth are so scared of losing their livelihood that they just toe the party line and do whatever they can to not make waves. And both scenarios are horrendously sad, because they're leading us inexorably toward a conglomeration of 1984, Brave New World, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451, and every other cautionary tale ever written. Very simply because Democrats are now reading those going, these are great ideas, while conservatives and some Republicans are saying, no, that was written to tell you what not to do. We have stories coming out today with people saying that the election will be held with remote voting. Oh, hell no. Remote voting is just an invitation for Democrats to cheat. Because every ballot they pick up, you're trusting people who have supported ballot harvesting, letting illegals vote, and not any form of ID to be required to prove you are a legal U.S. citizen allowed to vote. Remote voting is letting those people pick up your ballot, and I guarantee you, those kind of people are the ones that will have ballots pre-marked. You don't put your name on anything, so yours will end up in a shredder, and theirs will be turned in. I don't know what switched, but we have 100% of the country voted Democrat. And when anyone, like me, says, oh, hell no, I didn't, well, you must be mistaken. Of course you did. Look at the results. If you don't accept the results, you're a threat to democracy. They've legalized it in California with ballot harvesting. Literally means anyone can show up to turn in boxes upon boxes of ballots that they just happen to find. They tried it in 2016 in Florida, and again in 2018, where they just kept the recount going longer and longer and kept finding ballots. They had people openly posting on social media, we need people to help us find out who these absentee ballots are so they can be signed. Wrong. They weren't signed before the election's over. They're not valid. It has to stop. I honestly do not believe that we're going to be stuck in this situation with the COVID-19 strain more than maybe another month. Right now, the caution for social distancing and such, that advisory is until the 30th of April. We have a lot of companies doing a lot to help. Mike Lindell has transformed much of his production to produce surgical masks. 50,000 a day. And the mainstream media calls him the My Pillow guy. And they complain he was allowed to talk about how his company is doing amazing things. If companies like Ford offering 6 months assistance, 3 months deferred, and then they make 3 payments for you. Other companies doing the same thing. But none of it is talked about because none of that supports the scare tactics of we have to make sure the Democrats don't lose again because Trump is destroying the country by not being a tyrant. They talk about New York, where the U.S. Naval Hospital ship Comfort is docked, helping countless people every day. Where Cuomo finally had to admit, okay, yes, there was a supply of ventilators that we didn't send out. And they blame it all on Trump. I'm honestly surprised we didn't hear Trump must be impeached for not finding the stockpile of respirators, followed by make Cuomo president for calling on the U.S. Navy to send a hospital ship. We're honestly no more than 10 years away from video being all over the internet and television of a Democrat murdering puppies and the media saying that the video is fake. That's a body double and a deep fake. That's really a Republican doing it, so you have to vote for the Democrat. We're already seeing the spin. Governor Blackface or Governor Klan outfit, and he's still governor. But a Republican who might have had a hint of something not perfect in the past, they have to be removed instantly. And when those hints prove to be lies, the Republican is still screwed. If you don't think and honestly see we're headed for an Orwellian, a Huxley, a Bradbury world, then you're blind. And you really need to work on that. It's one of the reasons I'm doing the giveaway, so that I can get these books into the hands of more people. I'll admit, I'm going to have price books. I don't spend a lot on these. But this book is not in bad shape. Don't know what that mark was I saw. This one's not in the best of shape. It has quite a bit of marking in it, but you can still read it. That's my copy. Some of the writing is mine. The others, they're not going to be marked up. I don't buy those that I'm planning to give away that are marked up or otherwise not good quality. But I am going to have price books. That way I can afford to do more of this. You know, if the giveaways work, I may do every 500 or I may do every 1,000 or something like that. I plan to do more. I need to grow the channel so I can do it, so that I can also talk about things like that. I am actually thinking, as you can see, Demolition Ranch finally got me my t-shirt, but this made me think. How many people know what this flag, without the toilet paper, is called? Leave it in the comments. Don't Google it. Do you know what this flag is called? Do you know what the flag with Don't Tread on Me is called? They have official names. Don't Google it. Don't Google No Step on Snack. Don't Google Don't Tread on Me. Don't Google flag with cannon and star. Don't Google any of that. Off the top of your head, do you know the names of these flags? I know that were I teaching history, that would be part of what I teach. That I would make sure they know, why do we have that flag? Why do Texans have this flag? That's a hint for this one. Why do these things exist? Because why these things exist is a massive window into what was happening and what helped shape the growth of my state and of my country. But I'm not able to do that, so I'm doing it here. Anyway, I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments, but as always, be civil. We're not here to scream, yell, and insult each other and act like toddlers told ice cream is not for breakfast. We're here to act like adults. If Milano or Pelosi or Watts or any of them show up, they've proven they can't act like adults. I'll be brutally honest. I won't be vulgar. But I will be extremely honest with them. For the rest of us, we can be adult. Or we should be able to be. As always, please remember to like and share the video so we can expand the conversation and hopefully expand the channel to get to those giveaway points. Make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on so that you're aware of all content as it posts. I have days where I post off schedule, so you'll want to know about that, and you'll be subscribed so you'll be in the giveaway. Again, it's at 500 subscribers for 1 book, 1,000 for 2, 1,500 for 3. Right now, the choices for the first 2 levels are 1984, Brave New World, and Fahrenheit 451. If I can find a decent copy, I may throw in Animal Farm, but I'm going to have to find at least 3 copies to make sure I've got enough. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy, stay at home if at all possible. I understand you have to get out and go get groceries. I understand you may need to do other things, but you don't need to go out every day and just ride around. For crying out loud, look at Venice and how clear the canals are. Look at how clear the air in Beijing is. Look at these places where people are staying home, and look at the phenomenal change. I don't believe in man-made climate change, but I do know man does affect local climates. All the gondolas stir up the water. All the cars and trains and everything in Beijing or in India produce a lot of pollution. Look at Los Angeles. I'm waiting to see a skyline photo from sea of Los Angeles and see the air actually clear. I'm honestly hoping the corridor crew guys do an air quality test if and when Governor Newsom actually lifts the stay at home. It'd be rather amazing to see what having people that can work from home do so, and having those who can work from home not travel around as much. It'd be amazing to see what the effect would be. I don't believe we're going to change how climate shifts on the planet, but we can affect our own local climate immensely. Something to think about. Until next time, everybody have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy. Stay at home.